Hey everybody, happy Treadmill Tuesday. So I have no books, there's no book review for today, but what I am going to choose to review with you is a couple instances I had this weekend with Zoom calls. So I talked to my best friend today, Lenny, for about an hour, and just catching up. I didn't get to talk to her this weekend. And she said something that really stuck well with me, and it's, go figure, it pertains to running. She's not a runner she was going on a bike ride, but she put it in a way that would hit home with me. And she said, hey Nick, you have to remember, we are in the middle of a marathon. This is not a sprint. So she put it in a way that really kind of hit me over the head, because I had a couple Zoom calls this weekend, and I wanted to reach out to some people because I don't know if any of you all have taken the Enneagram testing. It's kind of a personality test, and there's 9 different types that you can fall into, and I am number 9. I am the peacemaker. I think it's number 9. Anyway, I know I am the peacemaker. So that's why I felt the need after these calls to reach out to people. So because I like it when people get along. I don't need to be singing Kumbaya, but I actually had an argument in my house today, and so I was processing this argument. I was walking back to work, and I was listening to a podcast, and I'm going to post the podcast for you because I'm going to do a terrible job at paraphrasing it. I'm sorry, Brooke Castillo. My heart is in the right place. I wanted to try and get this ready to get out tonight, so I didn't do as much preparation, but it is about disagreements, and this so I'm kind of fuming, and I'm in my head when I was coming back to work, and poof, this podcast comes up talking about disagreements. So I was like, oh God, okay, there's probably a lesson to learn here. So here's what I learned. I'm going to try and make this quick because it's getting dark and I got to ride my bike home. I get to ride my bike home, but I'll have the lights on. Anyway, so here's the thing. Knowing that this is a tough time for everybody, and we all are coming from our own experiences. One of the things is that we all have, and different experiences and different belief systems. So, and those belief systems are made up of our own personal history, our experiences, our education, and the decisions that we've made in our life. We have only walked in our own shoes. I've borrowed other people's shoes before, but you get what I'm saying with that. So here's the thing. If we can, when you disagree with somebody, what tends to happen is we want them to agree with us, right? That's just human nature. Like, you're wrong and I'm right. Here's why. And we try and knock each other over the head because we want them to get us. So what if, there was 3 steps she outlined, because I'm just going to cut right to the chase here. Number 1. So if we try to listen for that person, if we say, what if we took, instead of just, vomiting our own opinions and beliefs on that person, what if we hit pause for a second and said, you know what, let me understand. Why don't you tell me why? Tell me more about that. Tell me more about, so we can understand why the person has those beliefs. Tell me more where that's coming from. You kind of meet them where they are, so to speak. So understanding why that person believes what they believe, so you can really listen and hear what they're saying. That doesn't mean just listen, but I'm going to tell them, when they stop talking, I'm going to tell them exactly what I think. You want to hear it and process it. Guys, this is a skill. This is not easy for us to do. This takes practice, and we have to learn how to do this over time. Listening is an art form, especially nowadays when we're quick to want to get our words in. Especially on a Zoom call, if there's a lot of people, you got to be quick. But the second thing is, know that if you are listening to that person, you don't have to agree with them. All you need to do is to be able to understand. If they tell you, this is why I'm saying that, that's what you have to understand, is where their why is coming from. Doesn't mean you have to say, I agree with it, but thank you for sharing with me. Now I understand where you're coming from. Doesn't mean I have to believe it too, but now you know the why behind it. So the third thing is, and you can separate that. You can separate what they're saying from your own belief. You're in charge of that. Nobody says well, now you just told me why, now I have to believe you. No, you get to decide. We're in charge of our own thoughts and belief systems. So the final thing is, and this is one thing I am working on, notice your reactions, notice your feelings, and that we have to separate the emotion from just the understanding and the why that comes behind it. So notice your feelings and trying not to react in that moment, because you can never get it back. That's the thing that's really crappy. My behavior this afternoon, I'm never going to be able to get that back again. I may have thrown a plastic cup against the house in a not so fine moment. I'll never get that back. Luckily, the cup didn't break, the glass didn't. Anyway, I'm going to be working on that a little bit more, about my reactions. But just know this, guys. This is a tough time. And again, it is a marathon that we are involved in right now with the pandemic. It's not a sprint. And if we can just utilize a little bit of putting the pause on our own brains and saying, wait, instead of reacting right away, try and understand where the other person is coming from. Just saying, well, tell me more about that. Because that's going to allow us to try and get a little bit more understanding. You don't have to agree, but maybe you learn something. Maybe you say, God, I never thought of it that way, which is great. So I think it's one of those things where if we can, again, try and meet people where they are, just get a little bit more understanding and then a little less reaction, or in my case, a lot less reaction. Hearing someone isn't the same as agreeing with them. You can decide if you want to agree with them after hearing it, but at least you give them the opportunity. That's what I've got. Thanks for looking in. That's what Diana Lewis used to say on Channel 7 Action News in Metro Detroit. Thanks for looking in. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Be patient with one another. Bye.